What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I am your host, Dominique Smith. Today, I have a certified baller, shot caller, doing big things on and off the track. She produces better content than most other content creators that are out there popping. And listen, on the track, she is faster than your average Joe or Sue, competes in an event that I want no part of, because if you listen, that barrier is not moving, but she is moving over it. She is bigger than Fraser Crane. Yes, I'm listening in Seattle. She is the legend that is, probably the best Boise State Bronco of all time. Shout out to their football team for ruining lives in 2003. 2005, I'm sorry. She is none other than Miss Allie Ostrander. Allie, appreciate you taking time to come on the show. How you doing?
Hi, wow, what an intro. I don't know if I've ever felt more introduced in my life. So, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, listen, like I say in the show, all thriller, no filler. That's just how we roll up in here. But I have to ask you a question that I have been asking. It's kind of my winter, early spring question. So let's
Okay.
say Food Network, Ben and Jerry's, and either ABC or CBS. Well, let's just say all of them. They had dinner one night. And they said, we came across this girl named Allie Ostrander, and she's a really big freaking deal. And she is just thriving. She is just making the world a better place with her content. And she is somebody that we need to invest in and promote her awesomeness. So we want to do a custom winter/spring promotion centered around that. So Food Network said, okay, we are going to put either a burger, a pizza that is custom made by her, or if there's a destination dish that she's just like, no, I have to have this specific food, we are going to put it on the menu in every single location that we are affiliated with across this great world. Then Ben and Jerry's was like, all right, hold up real quick. We the ice cream kings of the world. What we're going to do is we want her to give us two flavors, and we are going to customize those flavors to sell in every store that pretty much we're affiliated with that Ben and Jerry's has ice cream in. Then the AMC and CMA. So ABC said we are the king of the awards when it comes to television, movies, and theater. And CBS said, listen, we are the kings when it comes to things like the Grammys. And so what we want to do is we want her to be our guest of honor, but she can be a plus one of either, if it's ABC, any actor or actress, and if it is CBS with the Grammys, any artists that she wants. So what we need, Food Network, burger, pizza, or whatever destination dish, Ben and Jerry's, two flavors of ice cream that will be combined into one. And then who are you going to, the Grammys, or are you going to any award show, other award show, television award show like the Oscars? And then who are you taking, or who do you want to go with?
So I get to choose one of those or all of them?
All three.
Oh, okay. I would do a pizza and I'd probably have some sort of a buffalo chicken blue cheese type
Ooh.
pizza. Yeah, because with some like little red onion and arugula slaw on there.
Oh,
Um, because it's very good. I've made it before, and I gotta say that yeah, it's Food Network worthy.
okay.
And then for ice cream, am I like creating a flavor or I'm combining two?
You're creating a flavor.
Okay, I do like peanut butter ice cream with cheesecake cookie dough and a graham cracker swirl because I like a lot of chunks in my ice cream and I don't like chocolate. And then as far as going to the Grammys, I'd
Grammys or the
probably want to
Oscars?
go
Okay.
Grammys or the Oscars.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'd do Oscars and I'd want to go with I always get her last name mixed up, but Hermione in Harry Potter. I think that's Emma
Oh,
Watson.
Emma,
Yeah.
Let's
Or
see, Emma Watson, Emma Stone.
yeah,
Let me,
I think it's Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. I think you're right. Let me see. Harry Potter. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with
So,
Emma Watson.
okay. So, a couple questions. Why did you have to health up that pizza? It was just good the way it is. You had to add all the fancy arugula and everything like that. I understand that it serves its place in society, but I was like, no, that's too
No,
healthy
no. So
for me.
the thing is that when you eat a pizza that has ranch dressing as the sauce and then it has blue cheese on top as well, like
Oh,
it's
you're right.
really, really heavy. And it's like there's nothing acidic or like fresh to cut through like the fattiness of the pizza. So you really kind of need that. It's one of those situations where vegetables like make it better and
Mm,
they're not detracting in any way, at least in my opinion.
no,
Like
you're right.
I've had it without, I've had it with, and I feel like it helps.
You need that arugula, that bitterness to cut through all that fat. Oh man,
Exactly.
you do you realize like you sounded like Guy Fieri when he's breaking down food on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives just now? Because like I've never had
Well,
somebody
that's the best compliment I've ever received.
you know, like you sounded. It just reminded me of him like trying food like oh, and this is a back perk because like sometimes when I'm cooking, like I will take a bite and then just be like, dude, this is out of bounds, just like all the crap that he says. But that sounded
Hmm.
genuinely like him. The acid, the fat. I've never had an athlete come on and just deconstruct that like a science. Like that is, gosh, when he retires, we know who to call.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I
that
would
that
love
would
to
that
take his place, man.
yeah, just travel around the world eating food for free. Like
Yeah. And then just
and
getting to talk about it. It's
yeah,
also so cool because the position he's in, like whatever restaurants he goes to, he has the power to like completely change the trajectory of their life because once they've been on Food Network, they usually are super successful afterwards. So it's cool. Like he can make people super successful.
yeah, even the food he doesn't like, it's just like they've been doing this triple D series where they catch up to a lot of the restaurants that he's been to and just their stories. There's like, listen, we had to open up another building and stuff like that. I was like, yo,
Mhm.
that is big time. So yes, we found his replacement for Triple D. And would you drive the Camaro?
No, definitely not. I would be a passenger princess, so I would need someone to drive for me, and I would sit in the passenger seat. But if they want to drive the Camaro, that's fine. But whatever it takes for me to get a ride, really.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a lot of pressure driving that Camaro. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not with that. Um, but let's jump into this. Al, you are a really big deal on these track streets, my friend. Running a PR of 9:26 in the steeplechase, which is blazing fast. And I just remember you going through the prep ranks to Boise State. It was like, yo, like this girl is going to ball out. And it seems that obviously, you know, career trajectories is um you have ebbs and flows, but pretty much you're out there balling in the steeplechase, which just that event is just insane to me because and you are very brave because I live in Florida, so we don't really do steeplechase in high school, but at my high school we did have the hurdle. And I tried, you know, still going through that. And I can just tell you from experience, that thing's not moving. Um, I did. So, but have you had a chance to reflect on just the amazing things that you've done off the track gearing into this season?
A little bit, I guess like always growing up, my goal was to be a professional athlete, to run fast. Like I was super driven to train and it never like people talk about, motivation and feeling motivated to do it. And like it's not really something that I ever struggled with because I just wanted to train so badly because I knew that that was what would make me good. Like it always felt like it was exactly what I wanted to do, not something that I had to do. Um, but like for me, some of the stuff I've done outside of actually running, like advocacy or just being really open and talking about some of my own personal struggles, like that stuff doesn't come as naturally.
Mhm.
And so sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, is like, is this cringy? Does this seem like a cry for help? Does it seem like I'm asking for pity from people? And like, that's never what I'm after, but sometimes I think it might be interpreted that way and it makes me uncomfortable. But then I'll get comments or messages from people saying, like, you saved my life, or you changed my life so much. You've helped me through this that I'm going through, or like, I chose to recover because of you. And like, when I see stuff like that, I realize how worth it is, even
Mhm.
when it feels kind of hard for me. So, yeah, I like those are the moments where I reflect. It's when people reach out to me and say that I impacted them in a positive way. And like there's just not really a better feeling than that. So,
Have you does this change kind of your idea of what you want to do post track? As far as, being that advocate, being that light for people and helping people?
um I think it changes a little bit just because it makes it so that my entire focus right now isn't just on like the times I run, it's also kind of on the impact I can have in the track world and outside of it. But with that said, I still don't have like a super solid idea of what I want to do afterwards. Like if I could be like an advocate or a speaker or someone, to help people like throughout the rest of my life, that would be great. I just don't know that that's a full-time job for,
Yeah.
it usually. So,
Well, you never know. You can make like a
yeah.
well, I wish I could tell you I majored in business, so but I can't even give you any business tips. But I mean, it all worked itself out in the end. Did you ever think what even just from before you were advocating and really helping people through what you were going through with your eating disorder, did you ever think that you would turn into the world of content creating with just sharing workouts and just being that open and honest, just about just running? And I don't know, I watched which was the first video I watched. It was actually a fun video. You were running really far, which, you know, is not my world. Um, but you had like your sister and I don't even remember. But I don't know, you found a way to make it relatable, but make it fun, like your training and your day-to-day kind of behind the scenes. What went into you starting that YouTube page so people can see, okay, well, this is the day in the life of a professional athlete?
Yeah. I never saw myself going into content creation. Even, Instagram, I was the type of person that would post every couple months. Like I was not super into it, but I started dating Spencer, the athlete special, and he has a YouTube channel and had one for a while. And I saw that he was able to like make money on there, get brand deals, and really like show people his life. And it was super fun, like being in the videos and seeing him like create content around like what we did, because it's just like you're making a highlight reel of your life basically, which is really cool. But it's not always a highlight reel, but
Yeah.
I mean some of the videos are. um, and that was really appealing to me because i I felt like right now, like I'm getting to be a professional, like I'm living my dream. I would love to document this. And also it provided a professional runner basically like job security, which is
Yeah.
something that we don't have in this sport. Like you don't have benefits. You usually don't have a very long-term contract. There's no guarantees of ever getting a raise or getting an extension. Like at a normal job, if you show up to work every day and try your best, you will just keep the job. Like you will
Mhm.
get to stay in it. And that is not the case with running. And so it's just like a very uncertain sport, basically, a very uncertain job for sure. So the idea of being able to create content and kind of have my or a part of my income be in my own control, like okay, if I like put out consistent content and it's good and it's worthy of being watched, then like I can have another stream of income that isn't related to my performance or what I'm making from, this company that's paying me to run. So that was something that was really appealing to me just because I'm a super independent person and I really
Mhm.
value my autonomy. So I enjoy having something that I feel like is a direct reflection of like the actual work that I put into it.
You also are actually hilarious. Like, cause like, listen, if she ever thought about doing stand up, I think you have a decent shot, like balling out in that. Um,
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. But I respect people that do stand up so much. I feel like if I missed on one joke up there and no one laughed, I would just have to leave.
no, I've heard like horror stories about like in Harlem or whatever, or what is it? The Showtime at the Apollo, like if you miss a joke or you miss, God forbid, you miss 2 to 3 jokes, they start booing you. They start throwing stuff at you. See, I said, yeah, that couldn't be me.
I could not do it.
No, that would be a problem. Do you like the editing? I'm actually genuinely
Um,
curious because I hate editing. I'm just being honest.
yeah, I mean, there are parts of it that I don't like. Um, but so like the general, like, maybe you go into a video, it's going to be about 8 minutes long. You have
Mhm.
45 minutes of footage. So I don't like the first cut, like getting rid of just basically, you know, the the blank footage that has nothing in it. That's just kind
Mhm.
of around like all the good stuff. But then the second run through where you're mainly just trimming up like stuff that was fun and good that happened and entertaining that maybe it just isn't quite good enough, but like it's still entertaining. I like going through the second time and choosing like the very best little bits. It's just the first time through that's not as fun.
Nah, the first time is brutal. You're sitting there, you're waiting for stuff to upload, and it's like, oh gosh. How
Yeah,
do
yeah. The
you
first time through, oh my gosh, it's just like me trying to set up the camera. Like I've already started the video and I'm like backing up, seeing if the angle's good, and then like approaching again. I'm like, God, I do not need to watch this.
no, and then like you have to make sure you sound okay and make sure the sound's good and all of that stuff. It's like, ugh, nah, man. It's honestly like we need to I don't know, you're a big enough deal in this content creator world that you should have an assistant to do all the sucky stuff.
Yeah,
But
we'll just tell YouTube to pay their creators a little more and then I'll hire an assistant.
yes, and stop stealing money. And stuff like that. How and then we'll get to some off track stuff. I'm curious. I've born and raised here in Florida for the 28 years that I've existed on this planet. You are the first person from Alaska that I have ever had the pleasure of talking to or coming in contact with. So I believe where you grew up, the population was like 7,500 people or something like that. It was like a
Mhm.
small town. What was it like growing up in Alaska and more or less running, in that kind of climate? Because I've had sinus infections all the time with the weather and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think obviously when I was growing up, that was the only thing I ever knew, and it
Yeah.
it is the only thing I'll ever know as far as growing up somewhere. So it's hard to compare it, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of pride. I felt like Alaska was the coolest state, and it was really outdoorsy and kind of less. like touched by humans than other states. So
Yeah.
I liked that aspect of it. There was always a lot of like outdoors time in nature. Like my family would go fishing together, we would go hiking a lot, and I enjoyed that. I always loved the outdoors. So I think that's kind of why I do, is because that's what I grew up with. Running in Alaska is obviously not ideal. Like the high school cross country season is really short. I don't think people realize, but it goes from like August until either late September or the very beginning of October. Like it
Wow.
ends 8 weeks before most other people do.
Oof.
Um, because it gets snowy there. Like we have to have it before snow takes over everything. So that was a little bit weird. Track season, our first meet of the year, is actually on an indoor track. It's a 400 meter or 413 meter indoor track.
Oh,
So it's like an outdoor meet, but it's
on the
inside because
inside.
everything's still covered in snow. Uh, and then, yeah, I didn't run in the winters. I played basketball, so that didn't really impact me. I was mainly running outside when it was not snowy, except the beginning of track season, which would be like cold and icy. But again, it's just kind of, it's what I knew. It didn't seem that bad at the time. Sometimes we'd wear like ice cleats or you just had to dress really warm, but
Hmm.
I mean, people from the Midwest or Northeast, they probably get it too. I don't think the weather in Alaska is as extreme as people think.
Mm. Yeah, because you see pictures, it's just like you guys are just a bunch of walking Frosty the Snowmans out there. So I don't know. The only thing I knew about Alaska was there's this movie called The Proposal.
Hmm.
And just I knew that the sun is just has a 24-hour battery. And it's like always
Yeah.
shining.
Yeah, the summers are like when it's around summer solstice, it's honestly incredible. Like I have started a long run at 11:30 p.m. It's crazy. You can just do stuff all day. It does get like dusky at night,
Mm.
but it doesn't get fully dark. So
See,
it's cool. It's like 2 a.m. to like 4. It's kind of dusk, and then the rest of the time it's bright out. Incredible. In the winter, it's the reverse, so not
oh
as fun. But we still get
yeah.
like 5 hours of daylight. It's not fully dark. Some parts of Alaska, the sun literally doesn't rise for like a month.
Wow.
So I could not do that.
I would be depressed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sure. Yeah.
If the sun, I'd be depressed if the sun was out all day because I have to, unless I have like those darkening blinds that
Hmm.
darken your room. But if the sun never came up, I don't know. I'd be in the bed all day just crying or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
I know, like growing up, it literally didn't bother me. I did not have blackout shades. I didn't even have curtains. I was
Oh,
just like, yeah, I'll just go to sleep. Like it's light, whatever. It was just normal to me. Now I'm such a baby. Like if the shades are not closed, if all the lights are not off, like we got to block it off. Like I need a dark place to sleep in.
hmm.
I don't know how I became this picky because I used to be able to sleep in broad daylight.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Especially like it's such a comment, it's just such a change. In my room, honestly, if a peak of light is shining, then we have to shut down the whole operation. It's a problem. Do you think kind of moving to the big city? I guess I guess Boise would be a big city, but moving to the big city, especially now in Seattle, kind of change, that your mindset or whatever of just kind of I don't say reality, but
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed my perspective on things because like moving to Boise at first, and Boise is like 170,000 or something like that.
mhm.
I was really overwhelmed at first. I thought this is a huge city. My gosh, like all the traffic, all the people, this is wild. But then I got used to it. And now, like when I go back to Boise, it feels like a small city. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really chill. There's no traffic. There's hardly any people. It's relaxed. And like when I first moved to Seattle, I was really overwhelmed. I honestly felt like, okay, like as soon as I'm done at Brooks, like I'm leaving. I cannot take this. The traffic is miserable. It's so crowded. I get so just overstimulated with everything that's going on all the time.
Yeah.
And now when I'm here, I'm like, yeah, it's like a mid-sized city. It's pretty chill. Like it kind of has small town vibes, it's not anything too crazy. So it just has showed me kind of like that I can be super adaptable. And I think everyone can. It's just you have to allow yourself time to adapt.
Right.
And so at this point now, like I love Seattle and I want to stay here for the foreseeable future because it's just like to me, it's just like a pretty relaxed city with really good access to the outdoors, lots of cool sports teams, lots going on all the time. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, moving to the big city was not great at first, but now, city girl, that's me.
All they need all they need to do is bring back the Sonics and then like you are set pretty much. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
were supposed to bring back the Sonics, but I mean, we don't know what they're doing. It's you're so right about like, just trying to adjust to the big city. I live in Orlando. Granted, it's not even the biggest city in Florida. That's Miami, and I've been to Miami. But in Orlando, there are more people coming, and the traffic here sucks, Allie. Just 4 to 6:30, you need to walk. Just walk home. Can't even take a bike because the sidewalks are just you may get run over. We are the least pedestrian friendly city in the world.
Ugh.
Yeah, they will hit you if you look at them cross-eyed. Then just prepare to die, because you will get hit. But I kid you not, there'd be times where I'll just be looking around. It's like, what is everybody doing here? Like, go back home, go back where you like, just leave. There's so many people, just stop. So yeah, I get that feeling. Let's get to some off track stuff. What are three people? Oh, Jesus. It's early, y'all. Well, it's not even early. It's like 11 o'clock.
You're
But
in Orlando.
yeah,
It's 11. It's not afternoon yet. It's still morning. So
yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm still trying to thrive just like Allie is, but we're getting there. We're slowly warming up. What are three things that people do not know about the legend that is Allie Ostrander?
I mean, probably just the number one thing due to the shock factor that it has is that I do not like chocolate. Not at all. Never have. Don't think I ever will. I can't stand the taste or the smell. Everyone else loves it. I simply do not. When I told my college roommate this, she literally did not believe me. I found her later, like Googling, is it possible to not like chocolate? She thought that I was pretending or like making a joke, but like, no, I just simply do not like it.
Okay. Okay.
And then everyone always asks like follow-up questions like, oh, but do you like chocolate chip cookies or like
It's like,
chocolate ice cream? And it's like, no, like none of it. Nothing with chocolate. I don't
oh
like
man.
it. Um,
Okay.
yeah. The second thing would be that I feel like most runners really like running in the morning. I and working out in the morning, I would always choose to do afternoon. I
Mm.
don't know why. I just think my body likes to have 6 to 7 hours to wake up, but afternoon runs and workouts will always be my preferred. And I almost always like have better workouts when it's in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my preferred. And then a third thing, um, I guess the third thing, this is a really kind of niche random fact, but I have watched the entire Gossip Girl series at least 3 times through, three and a half, I think. And I love it. I've loved it more every time I watched it. It is insane. I think it's the highest quality TV maybe to exist to man. So huge Gossip Girl stan.
Oh boy, where do we start? Okay. So with the chocolate, so has it just been something you've never liked?
Yeah,
Is
ever since I could make decisions about what I ate. Like there is a
gotcha.
photo of me on my second or first birthday with like a bunch of chocolate cake spread all over me. So apparently maybe I liked it then, but then again, with the amount that's like spread across me and the entire table, I don't know if I ate any of it.
Mm.
Ever since I can remember, though, I have not liked it. So whenever I was choosing, I would not choose chocolate.
Okay. Okay. Granted, you were the first willing person because usually people who hate chocolate is because they're allergic to it.
Hmm.
But we do not discriminate on this show. So I'm I there are certain things that people love that I hate. I hate mushrooms. Um, People love mushrooms. I hate healthy
I
food.
I personally do love mushrooms. I just
I
think, oh, so good,
yes.
so good.
Yeah. So listen, I'm not. I cannot. I try. I can't get with the texture. Everybody's like, "This is such a meaty
Hmm.
texture." I'm like, "Why are you lying?" Like that little knee. Like, why the you lying? Like, no, it ain't got no
Oh my
meaty
gosh,
texture.
that's that's
Nasty.
funny because I was about to say like, oh yeah, I love the umami flavor, the meaty texture, and you're like, oh, that they say it's meat, it's not. You
It's
know
not.
what though? I mean, I to each their own. I feel like everyone has random food preferences, so sometimes you
Yes.
can't get yourself to like it. Sometimes you can, like if you just try it enough times. But I have tried with chocolate and it's not happening. So
Well, you save yourself a good amount of money. So that's a plus because there's just about chocolate and everything. Do we? Is there like a peanut butter based candy bars? I'm wondering because everything
yeah,
has.
there's like a payday that's peanut butter or
Oh,
peanuts and caramel.
I used to eat
Yeah.
payday. Yeah. Okay, I think no Crunch Bar has chocolate in it.
Yeah,
Another
they all pretty much do, but
another butter is peanut butter
mhm.
based. Pretty much, I feel like paydays and Nutter Butters are things that should be on every organic list for people who like healthy food because you're getting so much protein. There's a meatiness to it in certain ways, so it's healthy. Listen,
Yeah, there's peanuts in a payday, therefore it's a protein bar. So
yeah,
yes.
so it's a power bar. Another butter, that's a power bar. You get your protein, you get its carb loading. Listen, one of the best
Mhm.
pieces of advice that I was given through the show called SNL was with Amy. I forgot. I think it's Amy Schumer. But she said something along the lines of, "If it's through a straw, it's healthy." And so, while that's not through a straw, those two things have intense health benefits. So, I really don't know what these people doing out here. Um, but yeah, you can't get with chocolate. I can't get with mushrooms. That's what I say. They're so good. They're so tender. Like, this is garbage. Like, buy you another pack of mushrooms and throw them both in the trash. Um, so that's just my food rant. But I need to get back to the fact. I'm well. I just heard about Gossip Girl. What is it about that show that you just love so much?
Okay. Well, first off, everyone in the show, or almost everyone, is incredibly rich. So, and they're living in Upper East Side, New York. And so it's like a whole different lifestyle that I could never really understand, but it's really cool to see through a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, they're really rich, pretty spoiled, and have access to like everything. They're high schoolers, but they're really not in high school. Everyone that acts them is like 30. But so there's just tons of drama, and um everyone gets with everyone else, and it just creates more drama, and there's never a dull moment. And they're sometimes they get upset and they travel to Spain. Like I would love to get upset and
Wow.
travel to Spain. So I don't know. It's just like a whole different lifestyle that I have never experienced, but I love to see. And it's so much drama that I could never understand, but I love to see. Also, everyone in the show is just incredibly hot. So that doesn't
Yeah.
hurt either. Like they're all just probably the
Yeah.
most attractive actors and actresses that they could get. So yeah, it's
I
just a
just
high quality show.
I just pulled up the cast and I was like, okay, that's an all-star cast right there. Blake
Yeah.
Lively, Kristen Bell, Leighton, whatever her last name is, Leighton M.
Meester.
Yeah, Leighton M.
Yeah.
Um, wow.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
mean, I think the other thing with Gossip Girl is that like it's a show that has substance to it, but not
Okay.
in like a deep way. It's not deep. It's just a
No.
relaxing, nice show that is very entertaining.
And full of drama. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I'm curious about something because usually with distance runners and middle distance runners, we'll talk about television and they'll mention how much they love either true crime podcasts, which I still don't get, or reality television, but centered around drama. Is it because you guys are like the least drama outside of the shot putters and discus throwers and hammer throwers and javelin throwers? Is it because you guys are the least drama filled people that you enjoy that kind of television or even series that are like that? Because you got to be extra. Oh my gosh, you pissed me off. Let me call Larry and need to go to Spain for 2 weeks just to calm down. Like I would like, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, I'm pissed off. Let me go on ahead and book my tickets to London or wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
See,
like I don't I don't know why it is that I like watching it so much, but I think it is because I enjoy drama when I am not involved in it. So
amen.
I try to keep my life drama free, but I
Mhm.
still enjoy seeing drama and what
Yeah.
goes on with that drama. So television is a great way to get that hit without any danger, you know?
Yeah. Because you just sit there and watch it, just like, oop, that couldn't be me. That won't be me.
Yeah.
And you just have to be careful. And it's I guess it's just television drama. It's not like that Hallmark stuff where um like it's just the same thing you see coming. This seems like it's but there's probably
Hmm.
something relatable because I have gone to high schools. Like I remember I was working as a track and field coach and working in the athletic office. And it's funny you mentioned the scene about, I'm mad, I'm going to go to Spain. So there was, and I was told this, a, well, I'm not going to, I'm not going to say what school it was, but there was a kid who had a lot of money and a lot of money. They had a whole basketball court in their house. And this is a true story. They had to do, like in high school, we had to do projects on different countries and cities and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And you sit there and you research and you look it up and all that stuff. So instead of doing that, I was told that she flew to the country for 4 days, and that's how she did the project. And she came back.
That
I
is
was like,
wild.
okay, that must be nice. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
couldn't
like,
be me.
yeah, could show enough couldn't be me. Shoot, I have to, gosh, it's like what is that crazy is that? Like, oh my gosh, I have to the Bahamas. I have to find out what it's like living in Bahamas. Okay, let's just go on over to the Bahamas for a few
Yeah.
days and just do some
Why
investigating.
not?
Oh gosh. But you mentioned that you were a hooper back in the day. Tell me
Mhm.
about the baller that still lives within named Allie Ostrander.
Well, I actually did two different ball sports, soccer and basketball.
Basketball.
Soccer, I stopped playing after my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, basketball I played all the way through. And I was a point guard, and my specialty was defense. I loved to full court press because, I had that stamina to just keep going all game, full court. So I really enjoyed that and just putting their point guard under a ton of pressure. Uh, yeah, I mean, but my senior year, I will say, the last game of my career, we were tied with 3 seconds left, and I made a three-pointer to win the game.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that was my last game ever. And after that, I felt very satisfied retiring from the sport forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm proud. Like I went out on top. Well, we got third in the tournament, but like The game
No,
we won, I scored the final points. So yeah, I was happy with it. I feel like that was the peak of my basketball career and everything I ever could have asked for. So
you can't even play pickup ball. Like I wouldn't play pickup ball. I hit a three to crush your tournament dreams. You doggone right. I'm putting them shoes. I'll give those shoes away. I don't care.
exactly.
I
Haven't
no,
touched them.
you need to frame them. Like seriously, frame them, and then it needs to be like How I Met Your Mother. See, kids, this is what happened with the basketball shoes. I would frame those shoes, and then I would sign them, and then put a picture
Yeah.
next to me in the tournament, and then make your kids put some respect on those shoes' names for what their mom accomplished. Back in the
Yeah.
day. Gosh, that
Yeah, there's actually like someone was taking a video of it because like, we had like this last play and they were like, well, if they score, it'd be cool. So anyway, someone was taking a video of this and they got it all on video, me making my three in the final game of my career. And like I was home last summer. Now this was at this point 8 years ago. And last summer, my parents pulled up the video and were like, we gotta watch this again. And they like watch it and they still get just as much joy out of it. Like I think of winning NCAAs, of going to worlds, of winning Milrose. I think that that is their proudest sports moment for me. Truly, I do.
because you take such pride in that, especially in a small town. It's just like, it's not like Orlando where it's like, oh, okay, cool. Somebody did that last night. Somebody did that 20 minutes ago. What makes yours special? Like, that is
Mhm.
something that will go on in the Ostrander family legacy book. Like, if you had a time capsule, you put that video in there. See, listen, kids, this is how you knew your mother was a big deal. And so generations and generations need to see this. Can you post that on like social media?
I should. Also, now that we're down this road, I guess I'll just tell you a little more about the game. It was probably the best game of my career overall as well because I was lights out. Like I wasn't usually an offensive weapon. Like my senior year, my shot had gotten good enough where like I would score, 5 to 10 points a game, but I wasn't anything crazy usually. But this game, I was on fire. I was 100% on free throws and I had made 3 3-pointers. So I was feeling good, you
Wow.
know?
So you were like Kobe in his last game. Just went out
Yeah.
scoring 60. Rest in peace.
I
Um,
mean, I didn't score 60. I think I scored like 16, but
that's okay.
that was the equivalent of 60 for me.
That's the equivalent of 60. And here's the thing: when you are I don't know if you know this name, but Gary Payton, like a Gary Payton like defender. They used to call him the glove because he was a point guard who was to suffocate people on defense. So like when you have that Gary Payton level of defensive swagger and then you start just balling, that's crazy. I would have loved to see that because that's just how you go out. So we know that you have that clutch gene clearly. Because think about
Well,
it.
I did that day.
But think about it. Olympic trials, the finals, right? What did you do? You PR'd,
Mhm.
and that stems back to high school when your team needed you the most. They didn't call on their offensive weapons. They said, "Get the girl who is cooking them like curry the ball, and you deliver." So look, they always say, is she about it? And it's just like, yeah, she's definitely about that life. Oh man, gosh. Yeah, you gotta we gotta make that into a movie. Yeah, we gotta make that to a movie. That would be a good like, I don't know. That would be a good like TBS has to pick that up, or no, Hallmark might pick it up. They say she left her small town, and then it's just like videos. You come back, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Allie, I still remember when you hit that three over that girl." Um, it, it
Oh
did so
gosh.
much. Um, but you said that you had a Food Network worthy pizza. What other Food Network worthy dishes have you made in your cooking career?
Um, well, I make really good pancakes and waffles. I actually like have started doing this thing for just for special occasions where I make like charcuterie, but it's waffle
Ooh,
charcuterie. So you've got like the
what?
waffles and fruit and some nuts, granola, whipped cream, it's really pretty. So I feel like that's Food Network worthy because the aesthetic
Wow.
aspect of it. Um, I actually make like a lot of different dinners. I make good like teriyaki salmon
Okay.
bowls, with like some rice mango salsa maybe. So yeah, that's good. I make like have you ever been to a kava?
I don't even know how to spell it. So
It's
no.
CAVA, but
Oh,
it's like
so they
Chipotle but for Greek food.
they actually just opened one up like a week ago. So no.
Okay. It is so good. It's like my favorite fast casual restaurant, but we don't have one in Seattle. So sometimes I'll do like a recreation where I make kind of all the stuff like tzatziki and we've got like the olives, tomatoes, cucumbers, you get some like rice, some sort of Greek chicken or lamb or something. And so like I'll make a
Wow.
recreation. That's pretty good. It's probably not Food Network worthy because it's not very original. It's just a copy, but like I
But
enjoy it a lot.
but when is the Ostrander House of Food opening up? Like when is this restaurant opening up so that I can go by Seattle and get a plate? Because that is some serious cooking.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean the
like,
restaurant's open every night. It's limited seating, but
listen,
yeah.
as long as y'all take reservations, then I think we're straight. Because man, that's some serious cooking. That is impressive. Just even the treat. I've made teriyaki salmon before, and when you make it right, it tastes really good. But the
Yeah.
waffle charcuterie with the whipped cream, like, do you scratch make like a lot of the stuff?
Yeah, it depends, like,
Wow.
how intense I'm going with it, but like I always home make my granola and
Okay.
like candied nuts and stuff like that. So I would home make that. Whipped cream I'll usually buy because I feel like it looks prettier because it comes out a little nozzle thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Oh
uh
man. I'm
yeah.
I'm hungry. Dang. Like that is good. That sounds
Yeah.
well, you
No,
gave
I
me some.
really enjoy cooking. Like I've been into it since I was like 8 or 9, I think. I started getting like cooking magazines and stuff. So, and I would like choose recipes and give my mom a grocery list and we'd like make them and stuff. So I've been into it for a while. There's actually like this joke in my house that when I cook, I take up as much space in the kitchen as possible. Like,
Mm,
I don't try to do this, but they call me out all the time and they're always right. That, like, I'll start cooking. I've got my little cutting board, my little spot, and all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, I'm using 3 burners and the microwave, the air fryer. I've spread everything to every surface on the counter possible. Like, the recycling bin is all of a sudden full. Like I don't know how I do it, but I expand when I cook. It is actually insane.
but that's the sign of a good chef. You take advantage of the space that you're given. No
So
waste.
I fully take advantage.
Listen, no wasted movement, no wasted space. That's the sign of an elite chef. Because here's me, if I come into the kitchen and everything, that's how we cook in our house. Because we down here is soul food, so I have family recipes that stem from a long, long time ago. So I need that space to make sure that
Mhm,
I am not overwhelmed by the lack of space so I can make the best dish possible and it shows up in the food.
mhm.
So I think
There
that's a
you go.
plus. That's how you maximize the space that you're in. That's what they do on
Yeah.
Food Network. Do you go on diners, drive-ins, and dives and see space everywhere? No, no, that's
No.
listen, that's why Guy Fieri is there, because he's trying it out. So, like, come on now. A couple more questions, then we're gonna get to our rapid fire, so we can wrap this thing up with a bow. So we're close to the same age. I'm 28. You're 26, if I'm not
Mhm,
mistaken. And so you were a prep star, and the reason I mentioned age is because I feel like social media, we've kind of seen the evolution of social media in a good and a bad way. Because when I
Hmm.
first I wasn't allowed to get Facebook until I was in 10th grade, and my mom sat by the computer with me when I created the account. Um, and now, like, shoot, when I was in middle school, we just had, I don't even know if Facebook was around. It was just like MySpace. There was this app for you
Hmm.
young kids called MySpace, which I wasn't allowed to have. But now social media has gotten to the point where it just runs everything. Like it's like a wildfire almost.
Hmm.
When I'm talking about social media, and obviously you being a prep star, and message, you can include message boards in that too. What is one thing about social media and just that kind of environment atmosphere that you wish would change, that would make things easier for you, people like you as a professional athlete, but also, up and coming runners who, are in your shoes or similar from the standpoint of, you know, a young phenom that's just trying to, enjoy the sport and grow.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that or wish for there to not be the comparison aspect. I wish it could just be like we could appreciate what everyone else was putting on social media without feeling the need to compare. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that's less social media and more just human nature. Like social media makes comparison much easier, but it's not social media that's forcing us to compare. That's just the human nature. Like you always compare yourself to other people, especially like in your same sport. So yeah, that's what I would wish to change, but it's not even social media that is really the problem there.
That's true. How would you change how the sport is covered?
I would definitely have more of the coverage by people who specialize in like that event. I think whatever event is being covered should be covered by someone who has competed in that event at like probably at least like a collegiate level, just because when there's someone covering a distance race that used to be a sprinter, they just don't have the same insights that a
Right.
distance runner would, because you can't really understand it unless you've done it. Like I couldn't cover a sprint race well because there are intricacies of it that I will just never understand. Um, I also just feel like there is such a huge untapped market in the running world because if you think about it, like running is probably the most participated in sport in the entire world, maybe other than soccer. But like, even with that, like, I'm not saying, people that run races, like, that is a huge population, but people that just run, like, that run outside for exercise, like, if we could find a way to tap into that market and get everyone that runs interested in running as a sport, like, it would be the most watched sport that there is.
For
And that would
sure.
be so cool. Um, but I just think we need to find a way to make running and track interesting, relatable, and entertaining enough to capture more of a market. And I mean, I have a few ideas for how that could happen, but I think overall it's like it would just take like a lot of time, a huge amount of commitment, and probably quite a bit of investing. So,
that's
yeah.
that's fair. Part of the problem is a lot of people don't know that you can compete beyond high school in track and field.
Hmm.
As crazy as that sound, and then even more so, you can compete professionally. Um,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when like
Like when
what?
I signed a professional contract, and I went home that summer, people were asking, like, oh, you just graduated. Like, what are you going to do now? I was like, oh, I'm a runner. And they were like, oh, yeah, yeah. But like, what's your job?
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm a runner. Like,
Yeah,
that is my job. And people fully do not understand that that's like a profession.
and it should be a profession that, like, like you said, at just different parts. I don't know. I'm with you. Everybody has ideas. I would hope that they would listen to your ideas because you are a pro runner and you know how contracts works, you know the ins and outs, the intricacies of how things go. Yeah, I feel like from a standpoint of even just content creators, there is a role, that you can reach different audiences because when track and field is on TV, listen, I can tell you here in Florida, you know, when we ran the two sports that I've seen get sold out are football and track and field because everybody is just there's that competitive nature like yeah let's race
Mhm.
and it's entertaining to watch. The distance races are entertaining to watch, like everybody, you know very few people leave the stand. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that aspect. Last question before we hit up the rapid fire. What advice would you give to younger runners who actually it's a two-part question. What advice would you give to younger runners who are I don't want to say following in your footsteps, but you know, look up to you in your journey? And then part two is what excites you the most about this season?
I mean, advice to younger runners, I would say that you just really have to be focused on your long-term trajectory and don't be too concerned if it's not always a straight uphill progression, but or upwards, not uphill, but upwards progression. But just make sure that like you're doing what you can to give yourself the best results long term. Like don't get too caught up in the short term because you want to maximize like your overall potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'm most excited for this season is that I'm trying some different races. Like in a couple months, I'm doing a 15K road race, which is something that I've never raced anything near that long before or on the roads. So I'm really excited to kind of expand what I've tried and test out a few different race distances and see where my strengths lie.
Do you think you'll ever switch from the steeple to the roads?
I don't think that I would necessarily like do a switch because the road season and this and track season, like they kind of mesh together in a way that it allows you to do both. So I wouldn't need to switch to do
Okay.
that, you know? But I mean, maybe I'm better at roads. I don't know.
Hey, listen, run that old town road, run till you can't no more. That is a Little Nas
Yeah.
X reference for the young kids who, or the older people who did not get it. You have survived the interrogation process. Now we are to our
Ooh.
final segment called Down the Home Stretch. I am going to ask you some rapid fire questions. I want you to answer them to the best of your ability. If I stop you to elaborate on the answer, it does not count against the time. If you do not answer these questions as fast as you can, please believe me when I say I do not care. It is all good, no pressure, all thriller, no filler. That's how it is. Are you ready?
Yes.
If there was a food that you could live with and a food that you could live without that is not chocolate, because we already know you don't want to live with chocolate, what would they be?
Raspberries would be the one I would live with,
Okay.
and beer without.
I hate raspberries. I tried them, but I don't understand. What is it about those berries that you enjoy?
I just think they're so good in every way. I like the texture, I like the flavor, I like the way they like burst in your mouth. Oh, so good.
They honestly make me nauseous and throw up. I don't know what it is, but anything raspberry, I can't eat it. I tried because they look so good in the store. I was like, oh, this is gonna slap. And then I eat one, it's like, ooh, Jesus, keep me near the cross. No, I can't do it. Let's just say they were gonna make a movie about your life. Tell me, who would you want to portray your character? Who would you want to be the character?
Uh, uh, I really don't know. I can't think of an actress that looks like me. Um, I
Go
guess
ahead.
I'll just say Emma Watson because I really like her. We don't look alike at all, but I like her as an actress, so I'll just say her.
I don't know why this name just popped in my head, but I think Reese Witherspoon would play your character pretty well.
You think? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe. It's just like she's so much older than me that I hadn't even considered that.
Remember, technology does a lot of things these days. So, um, you know, they could they could make it work. They could make it work.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book that you've read?
The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
A a wildfire? What?
Wallflower.
Okay. Who wrote that book?
Can't remember. It's like it's all like journal entries
Oh,
though. The story is told through this guy's journal entries and he's in high school. It's really interesting. It's like kind of a coming of age novel in a
okay,
way. It's it's super good though. It's pretty short too.
okay. Dream vacation spot.
Um, Switzerland.
Okay. What's the coolest thing you've done in the past 6 weeks?
Well, I was in Alaska for Christmas. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I did an uphill time trial, which was cool. Like I ran up a mountain as a time trial, so that was fun.
Sound like
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I paced my brother-in-law in a mile, and none
okay.
of these are like that spectacular, but I mean, they were all fun and cool at the time. So I guess those three would be the main things.
Well, listen, what's cool to you, don't nobody else needs to have an opinion on it. Keep your opinion to yourself. Well, even though I do have an opinion, that mountain thing sounds painful, running up a mountain.
Oh, it was painful, but it was really pretty at the top, so it kind of balanced out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, cool. I can dig that. What concert, like your dream concert, would you attend?
Lord.
Ooh,
Mhm.
okay. Who would you like to have dinner with? They have to be living. If you had to have an opportunity to have dinner with anybody living, who would it be?
Um, Maybe Brene Brown. I really like her. I feel like she has a super interesting area of research, and I would love to just like question her about it.
Okay, that'll be fun. If there was an artist who agreed to come play at a track meet, who would you choose?
Probably like Ariana Grande, because I think she has like the biggest social media following, and I feel like she would bring the most people to the track space.
That's true.
So,
See, that's a
yeah.
toss up because you got her, you have Beyonce, and then you have Taylor Swift. So that
That's true. Taylor Swift might bring even more people, but yeah, I don't know. I think probably that is a toss up. Maybe if they could do a collab, that would be the best. But if
oh,
we could
that would
only
be
choose
dope.
one,
Okay, Grande.
oh gosh, Taylor Swift is huge. Yeah, I'll go with my original answer. It was rapid fire. I said Ariana Grande. I'll stick with it.
Let's do Ariana Grande. Also, if you all who are listening are interested, if you like Taylor Swift, I have a friend who created a Taylor Swift Jeopardy. So that will be attached in the show notes. So you and your friends on game night can play Taylor Swift Jeopardy. Very famous among the people who play it. Okay, a couple more questions. If you had to pick a superhero to describe your game on the track and on the roads, who would it be?
Um, I guess like Spider-Man
Okay.
because he's like pretty just unassuming when he's not being Spider-Man, but then he kind of like takes on this different persona when he's in a race environment. And I feel like that's me. Like I'm pretty just chill, relaxed, just joking around when I'm not racing. But as soon as I'm racing, like I'm very serious and focused.
Theme song to describe your life.
Um, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know that one. I would say Daylight by Matt and Kim just because I like the beat of it, you know. It's a classic. Whenever it comes on, it just kind of boosts my mood a bit. So if that was always going, I guess I'd always be in a good mood.
I like that. All right. Three more questions. Three more questions. And actually, the one that I just had lined up went away. So we're going to do this one instead. Let's just say somebody, YouTube said, you know what, Allie, you're crazy good at what you do. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to fly in somebody, anybody, or we're going to have them narrate one of your video or five of your videos. Like
Mhm.
anybody you want to. Who are you choosing?
Someone will narrate them.
They're going to be doing the voiceover. They're going to be doing the talking. They're going to explain everything that you're doing and go, what's going on.
Okay. Um, I would choose Zac Efron because he did that one series where like he goes to all those places and it's kind of like an environmental thing and it was really cool. And also he's Zac Efron. It would be cool to meet him.
Okay, cool. All right. If you weren't a professional track and field athlete, what would you be? What other sport would you play? Better yet.
Cross country skiing.
Ooh, I can definitely see that. All right. Two more questions that actually, you know what? Scratch that. One more question. And it's the most important question you will answer. Why does kindness matter to you?
Because when you're kind, you have the ability to positively impact other people's lives.
Bonus question. Best era of television and what character do you think you relate to the most?
Best era of television was definitely the early 2000s. You know, I think that's when Gossip Girl came out, One Tree Hill, um, and 90210. Also, Disney Channel was absolutely popping. We had Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place. It was a
Yeah.
great time to be alive. What character represents me? I always related to Lily on Hannah Montana, like Hannah Montana's friend. I
Yeah.
related to her. She was a bit weird, quirky, not afraid to be herself. So I liked her a lot.
Emily Osment, I think is her name, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken. So you have survived down the home stretch. You aced it. You aced it like a two-piece and a biscuit. Can you tell the people where they can find you and support your journey?
Yeah, so I mainly am on Instagram and YouTube at Allie_Ostrander. So yeah, I post pretty frequently on both. So be sure to, you know, follow and subscribe.
Well, first and foremost, forgive me for messing up your last name. I said Ostrander. It's Ostrander. So
Oh yeah,
uh,
like I honestly already forgot about it. It's very understandable. It's a weird last name, so
I do apologize. You can't get people's last names wrong, so my bad to the Ostrander family. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's definitely been fun. I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will catch you next time.